Turn around for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested. For what? You don't have any proof on me. No, ma'am, I do.
GloRilla just got hit with a major sentence after police found a massive stash of marijuana in her home. Add that to her past DUI and reckless driving charges, and things are looking real shaky for Memphis's hottest rapper. She might not touch a stage again anytime soon. Here's how it all fell apart. From the trenches to the top, now it's looking real dark for Glo. The Memphis Queen is locked up. Here's the tea. GloRilla was arrested on July 22nd, 2025 in Forsyth County, Georgia on felony possession charges, weed, and a controlled substance. But before y'all start thinking she was out here trapping or moving serious weight, let's break down what really happened. This ain't a case of her pushing packs or getting caught up in a dirty traffic stop. Nah, this went down because some shady burglars broke into her crib while she was out of town performing at the WNBA All-Star Weekend. When the cops pulled up to investigate the break-in, they found some weed in her bedroom and decided locking her up was more important than catching the actual thieves. Let that sink in for a second. Sis calls the cops because her home got violated, her people were traumatized, and her personal stuff got jacked. And instead of tracking down the real criminals, they flipped the whole thing and turned her into the suspect. They booked her and slapped her with a $22,260 bond, all over some personal stash in her own house. A house she wasn't even in when the crime went down. Her response on social media? Straight raw. She kept it all the way real. She jumped on Twitter and dropped a bomb that hit over 3.6 million views. Wild. She said, "My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star game. And instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focus on some cannabis." But to really understand how we even got here, we gotta rewind and talk about the rise that took Gloria Hallelujah Woods from South Memphis blocks to global stages. This ain't no polished rags to riches fairy tale. This is raw struggle meets hustle. Some hood legend stuff Hollywood couldn't even write. Imagine growing up in a house with 9 siblings, 6 brothers, 4 sisters, all packed into the heart of South Memphis. If you know, you know. It's one of the grimiest, roughest areas in the South. Every meal was a maybe. Air mattresses? That was luxury. And surviving the week felt like winning the lottery. But Gloria? She wasn't just another kid in that crowded house. Her mom named her different, literally. While all her brothers got Carmichael and her sisters got Nicole, she got Hallelujah. Her destiny was already marked to be something else.
My mama always say she marked me, but I ain't never feel no special than none of the other kids who y'all was treated the same. It's just growing up, my mama had me near her. Like, I was like, right hand.
Now, here's the part that's gonna catch some of y'all off guard, especially the ones who only know Glo from her street bangers. Before she was rapping about being FNF and tearing up the charts, sis was deep in the church. And I mean deep. She was in the choir heavy, belting out gospel classics like Amazing Grace and Encourage Yourself. Her whole family, front row at church every single Sunday. No excuses, no skipping. And let's be clear, this girl could really sing. We're not just talking bars and beats. She had real vocals, the kind that'll give you chills.
I used to sing Amazing Grace. I used to sing this song called Encourage Yourself.
You were really a singer.
Yeah, I used to be singing in church. Like, I had a good voice. And then, once I had gotten in high school, we weren't going to church like that. When I got into high school, when I got in high school, I had started smoking weed.
Forget the singing.
But y'all know how it is. The streets got a way of calling young folks. And once high school rolled around, church started taking a backseat. Gloria started dabbling with that loud pack, and slowly the singing got pushed to the side. That's when the grind toward rap stardom really started to take shape. Fast forward to early 2022, and boom, Gloria links up with producer HitKid. And what came out of that studio wasn't just a track. FNF was straight lightning in a bottle, that once-in-a-generation kind of energy you can't fake. The joint took off like a rocket, went viral on TikTok, crashed into the Billboard Hot 100, and even got that Grammy nod. But let's be real about what FNF meant to the culture. That wasn't just another hood anthem. It was a whole movement, a rally cry for women who were done accepting less than they deserved. Free wasn't just a word, it became a whole mood. A declaration that said, I don't need no dusty dude to pay my bills, gas me up, or tell me who I am, period. But with big success, you already know, big drama. And FNF came with its own mess. HitKid, the producer behind the beat, popped off saying Glo and CMG were moving shady, trying to lock down ownership of the song behind his back. That's the dark side of blowing up. When something goes viral, everybody suddenly wants a slice of the pie.
A manager every day that we was in LA with Sweetie, that labels are going to try to sign you because of FNF, so watch out. I also told you to let me know when labels reach out so we can be on the same page, but you still went and signed my song without telling me.
But Glo wasn't about to let nobody play her or question her grind. Nah, sis clapped back with that same energy that made her a star in the first place. place. Bold, unbothered, and built different. She let folks know real quick. She earned every bit of her shine and wasn't about to let anybody twist the narrative or dim her light.
And we're done made so much money from FNF, and I haven't made not one red cent other than shows, but I'm still prospering because guess what? I can rap in real life and ain't no MF one-hit wonder. I wrote every single lyric and every single song I ever put out. And even after all this, I still got love for HitKid because we came up together even though he'd been going behind my back ever since the song blew up.
This early drama was just a little taste of what was coming. The music industry, full of snakes, vultures, and shady deals. And when you a young artist blowing up overnight, everybody want to test you. Every major label was trying to get at her, flying her out, whining and dining her, throwing promises left and right. Glow? She wasn't falling for the glitz and smoke. She moved with street smarts and had a sharp business sense that most people her age just don't got. While others get starstruck and sign their life away, she took her time, real patient with it. She spent 2 whole weeks meeting with label after label, asking questions, peeping the energy, doing her homework, and when she finally sat down with Yo Gotti, the hometown heavyweight, she was still cautious. Even though he was Memphis royalty, Gotti had a rep, and Glow wasn't about to jump into anything blind, no matter how big the name.
So when I had finally linked with him, it was on the yacht. We had met on the yacht and stuff, and we were just chopping it up. And then the rest was history.
How you get to Gotti last, though? Gotti right there in Memphis.
Right, because it's like, I don't know. I probably was scared.
But what really locked it in for her wasn't just Gotti's street cred or how deep his pockets ran, it was the way he saw her future. While all those other label execs were stuck on FNF, trying to ride that wave or copy the formula, Gotti saw past the moment. He didn't see her as a one-hit wonder. He saw a star in the making. When Glow played him her unreleased tracks on that yacht, it wasn't just polite head nods or fake industry smiles. Nah, Gotti's reaction was real, immediate, raw, and straight from the gut. He didn't just hear potential, he felt it. That moment told Glow everything she needed to know. This was someone who believed in her entire wave, not just the buzz.
As soon as I pulled up and we was on the yacht, I instantly hooked up to the aux, played all my unreleased music, and he was just, we was just on the yacht vibing to all my unreleased music I got. So he was like, it just felt right. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he believed in me. This
wasn't just about Gotti cashing in on a viral hit. This was legacy moves. He knew Memphis had the crown in the rap game, and Glow was the next queen to keep that fire burning. Gotti didn't see a moment, he saw movement. He wasn't investing in a trend, he was backing an icon in the making. But with big wins come big targets, and once Glow locked in that CMG deal and was flying high off the FNF anthem, that's when the system started applying pressure. What came next was textbook, the kind of playbook the industry and the legal system pull out when they want to remind you who's really in charge. The first real red flag? April 2024. Gwinnett County, Georgia. Glow gets popped on some DUI charges. Now sure, celebs catch DUIs, it ain't new, but the body cam footage from this one, it told a different story. This wasn't a routine stop. It showed a young star being treated like a criminal before she even had a chance to speak. Before any field test, before any real evidence, the judgment was already made. Her fame didn't protect her, it put a spotlight on her.
Fighting me on who you are. You sing, you
No, because you still gonna pick on me. It don't matter who I am.
pick on you. I'm not picking on you. You're
'Cause I'm
driving and I can smell alcohol off your breath.
But I'm not drunk. I can tell you that.
Peep game, Glow clocked the vibe instantly. Soon as that cop approached, she already knew what time it was. There was no confusion, no hesitation. She felt that shift in energy, and when the officer asked her to ID herself, the way she responded said it all. That wasn't just a celebrity being annoyed. That was a black woman who knew that her fame wasn't gonna shield her. It was gonna paint a bigger target on her back. She wasn't moving like someone shocked by the situation. She was moving like someone who'd seen this play out before, like y'all not even slick with it. Fame might open doors in the industry, but on the side of a Georgia highway at 2 a.m., it don't mean a damn thing. All it does is give them a headline to chase.
Yeah, I'm on your TV.
Ma'am?
I said I'm on your TV.
On my TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
So get this over with because I'm not drunk.
But here's where it gets straight up wild, and honestly, real damn troubling. Despite going along with every single field sobriety test, despite not resisting, not wilding out, Glow kept it solid and claimed her innocence the whole time. But you could see it in her face. Confusion, frustration, that quiet anger when you realize you're not just being questioned, you're being set up. The body cam don't lie. It shows a woman who's realizing step by step that this ain't about justice. It's about control. And then that cold command from the officer hit like a punch. Turn around for me. That was the moment. The moment it stopped being a traffic stop and turned into a story, a headline. Another viral clip of a rising star being taken down, not for what she did, but for who she is and what she represents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
You're
I'm
under
gonna
arrest.
take the test. I'm gonna take the test.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested.
For what? You don't have any proof on me.
Yeah, ma'am, I do.
That 2024 arrest should have been a red flag, not for Glo, but for everybody watching how the system moves when a young, successful black artist starts making real noise. But instead of backing off and treating her with the respect her position demanded, it felt like law enforcement was just getting started, like they had her name circled in red. Meanwhile, Glo's career was taking off. She wasn't just a one-hit wonder. She was proving she had the range, the energy, and the rawness to hold her spot. Her collab with Cardi B on Tomorrow 2 went viral, and people started locking in on her as one of the most authentic voices in hip-hop. But when you shine that bright, the microscope follows. Every move she made got scrutinized. Every post, every lyric, every public moment picked apart. And the pressure wasn't just professional. Her personal life was starting to crack too. She'd already gone through a painful heartbreak that hit her so hard, she stopped eating for weeks. Add the non-stop media coverage, fake support, and relentless criticism. And that spotlight started to feel more like a heat lamp. It wasn't just fame anymore. It was a mental and emotional battlefield.
I said, I never want nobody to have that much power over me where I can't eat.
Yeah.
No.
I be telling people, when you get to that, you just gotta drink protein shakes and Ensures. That's the only way.
You don't even be wanting to drink it. I be having to force myself, and it's like, what am I doing? I can't eat this.
This vulnerability that Glo showed in interviews made her relatable to millions of fans, but it also painted a bullseye on her back. Legal troubles were stacking up in other areas too. There were ongoing beefs with former collaborators and producers, business deals falling apart, and the constant pressure of maintaining her image while dealing with personal issues that would break most people. But it was how she handled criticism and controversy that truly showed what kind of person Glo was at her core. When she caught heat for using an offensive word in her lyrics in August 2024, she didn't double down or deflect. She revised the lyrics and addressed the issue head-on. That kind of accountability is rare in the rap game. It showed she was someone who could be reasoned with, someone who genuinely cared about the impact of her words. On August 24th, 2024, she responded by updating the lyrics to "Me and My BH Got Naughty" and posted the new version on X. Fans applauded her with comments like, "Okay, Naughty, a considerate queen," and said other artists should take notes. The release of her debut album Glorious in October 2024 should have been a celebration, but it sparked new controversy. The album featured "Rain Down on Me" with gospel legends like Maverick, City Music, Kirk Franklin, Chandler Moore, and Kara Sheard. Some in the gospel community took issue with these artists working with Glo given her explicit content, but fans came through with facts, reminding everyone that Glo grew up in the church, served in ministry, and was part of the choir. This wasn't some clout-chasing moment to cash in on gospel. It was an artist going back to her roots, trying to bridge the gap between where she came from and where she was going. Glo wasn't letting anyone else write her story. She kept speaking out on important issues, including her stance on plastic surgery and body positivity. When she faced body-shaming comments, she clapped back with confidence, saying, "No, I'm not getting a BBL. I already feel like the thickest one in the world." By July 2025, Glo had reached the top of her game. She was performing at major events like the WNBA All-Star Weekend, booked and blessed, building an empire her younger self would have dreamed of. But success, as she was about to learn, can make you a target in ways you never see coming. On the night of July 20th, 2025, while Glo was in Indianapolis doing what she loved, performing on stage, living her dream, inspiring thousands, her home in Georgia was being violated by criminals who knew she was out of town. 3 suspects broke into her house. An armed family member fired at them. The suspects ran, but not before stealing jewelry and traumatizing her loved ones. A young woman's sense of safety and security was shattered. But what happened next took the situation from bad to outrageous. Instead of focusing their investigation on the burglars who broke into Glo's home and terrorized her family, police decided that the real crime was some marijuana they found in her bedroom closet. Let that sink in. A successful black woman calls the police after her home is burglarized, her family is shaken, and her property stolen. And the response is to arrest her over weed, a substance that's legal in many states and decriminalized almost everywhere. And worst of all, as of the latest reports, no arrests have been made in connection with the actual home invasion. The real criminals, the ones who broke in and stole her peace of mind, are still walking free. Meanwhile, Glo, the victim, is facing felony charges that could threaten everything she's worked for. When news broke about her arrest, the reaction was immediate and explosive. Social media lit up with outrage, not just from her loyal fans, but from people across the country who recognized this for what it was. Yet another case of the justice system, punishing a victim while letting the real criminals off the hook. But it was Glo's own response that reminded everyone exactly who she was and why she's built different. She didn't hide, she didn't stay quiet, and she damn sure didn't let anyone else speak for her. Her posts after the arrest posts were raw, unfiltered, and painfully honest. Crazy. My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star Game. And instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focus on some cannabis. That tweet racked up over 3.6 million views and struck a chord with countless people who've been through similar injustice. She followed it up with even more clarity. 1, so no, I wasn't busted. 2, my house got robbed. 3, I wasn't home. Then she dropped the mic with, long story short, my house gets home invaded and I'm the only one that gets arrested. So that's T, with a shrugging emoji that said everything without needing to say much at all. Now let's talk facts, because the details matter. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office responded to a burglary in progress at 1:30 a.m. at Glo's home in the Atlanta suburbs. 3 intruders had broken in while she was performing hundreds of miles away in Indianapolis.
Forsyth County Sheriff's Office said that the deputies responded to a report of a burglary in progress Saturday around 1:30 a.m. at a residence in the Atlanta suburbs. The sheriff's office says 3 suspects entered the house when an armed occupant fired at the intruders. GloRilla was not home at the time of the burglary, the sheriff's office said. The 3 suspects fled. No injuries have been reported in the incident.
So we've got a clear crime: breaking and entering, burglary, and the terrorizing of a family. We've got clear victims, close family members who were staying at the house and had to defend themselves against armed intruders. And we've got clear criminals: the 3 suspects who broke in and stole jewelry before fleeing when they realized the house wasn't empty. But somehow, in the twisted logic of this investigation, the police decided the real priority wasn't catching the burglars. It was rummaging through Glo's personal belongings and arresting her for marijuana possession. They executed a full-blown search with K9 units and drone teams, got a warrant for the house, and then claimed they found what they called a significant amount of marijuana in plain view in the master bedroom closet. Here's what's absolutely infuriating. Glo's legal team, led by attorney Drew Finling, released a statement that summed up how backwards this entire situation is. They pointed out that when Glo's family did the right thing and called law enforcement after a violent home invasion instead of prioritizing the actual crime, the police turned around and got a search warrant just because they saw some weed. Let that sink in for a second.
Ms. Woods was out of town when her residence became a target for a group of home invaders who most likely knew she wasn't there. What they didn't know was she had family staying with her that were traumatized by the violent entrance of this group, who grabbed high-value jewelry before taking off once they realized the home wasn't vacant. Finding law firm asked, when her family members did the right thing and called law enforcement instead of investigating the violent home invasion and theft at Ms. Wood's home, they instead sought a search warrant when they spotted what they believed was a small amount of marijuana.
No arrest warrants have been issued for the violent home invaders. The people who actually committed crimes, who broke into someone's house, terrorized a family, and stole property, are walking around free as birds. But Glo, the victim in all this, is facing felony charges that could put her behind bars for years. This ain't just about marijuana laws or drug policy. This is about a fundamental perversion of justice that criminalizes success and protects no one. It's about a system that seems designed to tear down young black artists the moment they start winning without asking for permission. And Glo ain't the only one who sees what's going on. The response from the hip-hop community and beyond has been overwhelming. Artists, activists, and everyday people are all asking the same questions. How is this justice? How is this protecting and serving? How is this making anybody safer? But maybe the most powerful response didn't come from a press release or a legal statement. It came straight from Glo herself. Despite everything, despite the arrests, the charges, the media storm, she showed up for her scheduled Glo Bash performance at FedEx Forum in Memphis. She didn't hide. She didn't cancel. She didn't let the system break her. From her early days in the church choir to becoming one of the most authentic voices in hip-hop, Glo has always used her platform to speak truth to power and inspire people who look like her. And now, more than ever, she's proving why her voice matters.
But like, where did this come from? I never heard somebody say that until you said it.
Seriously?
You didn't make that up?
I actually didn't make that up.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know where I saw this at, but they was like, I saw a post, they said, crackheads be giving out the best advice. One of them just walked up to me and said, at the end of the day, to take out a hand.
But the situation facing Glo ain't just about one artist or one case. It's about a pattern, a deep-rooted system that targets young, successful black artists the moment they rise. It's about how the rules shift when you stop being a statistic and start becoming a symbol of power, independence, and influence. The message is clear. No matter how high you climb, they still want you to know your place. Glo is facing felony charges for for marijuana and a controlled substance, charges that could mean serious prison time if she's convicted. But even beyond prison, consequences could ripple into every corner of her career. International travel restrictions, loss of endorsement deals, being barred from venues, slowed momentum. It's more than legal, it's strategic sabotage of a self-made empire. And the irony? It's painful. Here's a young woman who clawed her way from air mattresses to millionaire status, who never forgot her roots, who gives back, who lifts others as she climbs. Glow is the kind of story this country claims to celebrate, but instead of protection, she's getting persecution. And this isn't new. Glow's been in the system's crosshairs before, like her DUI arrest back in April 2024. It's clear, the brighter she shines, the more heat she catches. Her success put a target on her back, and now she's in the fight of her life. But she's not in it alone. Her legal team, led by Drew Finling, has been vocal and powerful. His statement calling this arrest a disturbing window into law enforcement priorities hit hard. It wasn't just legal defense, it was a call to action, a moral indictment of a system too many know too well. The legal battle won't be easy. The system moves slow and justice ain't guaranteed. But regardless of how this plays out in court, one thing is already clear. Glow has won where it matters most. She's shown resilience, she's shown truth. She's inspired millions to keep pushing, keep dreaming, keep building, even when the odds are stacked against them. Whether she's cleared of all charges or whether this becomes another example of justice denied, Glow's legacy is locked in. Her voice, her impact, her presence in hip-hop and in culture is unshakable. And nothing, not a raid, not a charge, not even a broken system, is strong enough to silence that. Thanks for watching. If you want more powerful stories like this, click one of the boxes on your screen. Stay informed, stay real, and stay loud.